And yet that's not what we see. Look at verse 8. Verse 8 records the response of these 4 men. It says, these 4 men, they entered the camp, and they ate and drank. They carried away the silver, the gold, the clothes, and they went off and what? Hid them. It's very interesting. They returned, and they entered into another tent, and they thought to themselves, man, this is our lucky day, right? We were going to die outside of our own camp, so we go to the camp of our sworn enemies, and now we find no one's here, right? So they start raiding the camp of their enemies. You see, how do these 4 men respond to the miraculous provision of God in their life? It's very simple. They begin hoarding everything he provided. They begin keeping and hiding and just storing away all these good gifts that God had given to them. And I wonder if this ever happens to you. I wonder if you ever find yourself hoarding certain things or certain gifts that you know God has given to you to accomplish his purposes.
He's a good father. And many of you guys, maybe like me, you like notes and you like action plans. And so I've got an action plan for you this week if you want it. The action plan is very, very simple. It's maybe a spiritual growth exercise. Don't think about it like homework. It's not homework, okay? It's spiritual growth exercise. I want to see how many of us would maybe go through the Sermon on the Mount twice this week and begin to pray those things that are written in the Sermon on the Mount. Begin to pray those scriptures, that we begin to go to God asking, seeking, and knocking, maybe even twice this week to go through it, even starting in the beginning with the Beatitudes. So begin to pray those things for your life, for your family, for your work, for our church, for this city, for the world. All the way through, just kind of work your way through and begin to pray and ask God for those things. Because he is so much better than we've ever hoped. He's so much more knowing, so much more kind, and he's so much more generous. He gives out of his unlimited resources. He gives life, he gives peace, he gives joy, he gives patience. He's a provider and a healer, and he loves to give good gifts. But the greatest gift that God has ever given is his son, Jesus. It's the best gift he's ever given. It's not about stuff or anything else. It's about Jesus as the best gift that God ever gave. The Pharisees thought that they had to work their way to God and earn his listening ear. They thought that their acts of righteousness would gain them right standing with God, when really it was nothing that they could do to get to God. The gift is that God sent Jesus to come for us, to come to our rescue.
You see, we believe that we're better together. Jesus breaks down barriers and he unites because he believes we're better together. We're better together than we are alone. Paul tells us that Jesus came from heaven to earth to unite us with God, to unite us with one another. This is why we believe, we mentioned a few minutes ago, this is why we believe in fellowship groups and the importance of groups here. We're not created to do life alone. We're created for community because we're better together. See, this was part of the good news that Jesus preached. It says he came and he preached peace to you who were far away and peace to those who were near. Jesus is peace, and he overcomes these differences. We're told that as iron sharpens iron, so does one man sharpen another. Together we can make each other better in relationships.